Whether you like sharks or not, these amazing creatures are going to help you build your vocabulary skills. In this lesson, we'll use an article from the Health and Science section of the week. We'll study the wording in depth, and then I'll read the entire article aloud for listening comprehension. Stick around for the vocabulary review tasks, okay? Saving the Sharks is an article from the December 19th, 2025 issue of the week. Sharks and rays have just won unprecedented global protection from the world's leading wildlife trade agreement, reports Oceanographic. What does unprecedented protection mean? A. Sharks have always been protected very well. B. Sharks will now receive more protection than in the past. Or C. Sharks have lost protection. The answer is B. Unprecedented means not done before. Look inside the word. The prefix un means not, right? The ed ending makes it an adjective. We then have the noun precedent, which refers to something done, said, or seen before. So we can say, sharks will now have unprecedented global protection. The protection they now have is unprecedented. The decision to offer this level of protection is without precedent. Look at those patterns closely. To master a word, learn how to use it. Learn collocations, that is, common combinations of words, like unprecedented success, unprecedented demand. A good learner's dictionary will provide collocations in the examples. Without precedent is a useful collocation to learn. The Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, or CITES, has placed fishing restrictions on more than 70 threatened species, including a total ban on trade in oceanic white-tip sharks, manta and devil rays, and whale sharks. I'm not an expert on sharks, and you likely aren't either, so it's okay if we don't know the difference between a white-tip shark and a whale shark. What's important are these two nouns: restriction, ban. Which one refers to limiting an action, and which one refers to forbidding an action? That is, you can't do it at all. So restriction is a rule or law limiting an action, and a ban is a rule or law forbidding an action. Authorities placed restrictions on more than 70 threatened species. By the way, you can say species or species. Both pronunciations are acceptable. Okay, this means there's a limit on how much fishermen can catch. Note the collocation, place restrictions on something. The opposite is lift restrictions or remove restrictions. The article also says there's a total ban on trade in white-tip sharks and other species. A total ban is a collocation. We can also talk about a complete ban. As a noun, we say ban on what? A ban on trade, a ban on fishing, a ban on smoking. What other bans can you think of? Ban is both a noun and a verb. There's a ban on fishing. They banned fishing. Trade in deep-sea species such as gulper, smoothhound, and taupe sharks will now require strict permits, and wedgefish and giant guitarfish are subject to a zero export quota, effectively halting international trade to allow populations to recover. Again, we don't have to be marine biologists and recognize all the different species here. Just tell me one thing. Why are all these restrictions now in place? Choose the most logical reason. A, to encourage industries other than fishing. B, to please shark lovers. C, to help certain populations grow again. The answer is C. It's all about helping populations of threatened species to recover. The number of certain sharks and fish had become dangerously low, so the restrictions will help those numbers rise again. If recover is a verb, what's the noun? Recovery. We can also use this as a noun modifier, that is an adjective before a noun, and say that this is a large-scale recovery project. The article says trade in deep-sea species will now require strict permits. Is permits here a verb or a noun? It's a noun. A permit is an official document allowing you to do something. There's a related noun that I think you know. If I say yes, you can do something, I'm giving you what? Permission. You need to learn these kinds of word families so you can be flexible when you express your ideas in English. Consider this sentence. A permit gives permission, that is, it permits you to do an activity. Do you recognize the two nouns and the verb? And did you hear how my pronunciation changed? The stress shifted. The noun and the verb have different word stress patterns. Permit, permit. They also reported that wedgefish and giant guitarfish are subject to a zero export quota. What's quota? A, an official investigation, B, an official report, C, an official limit. Answer C. A quota is an official limit on the number or amount of something. Subject to, by the way, is something you can learn as passive vocabulary. I just want you to understand it in this context. It means that these species are now under the control or protection of authorities. We know these restrictions have an effect. The article describes it as effectively halting international trade. What's the closest meaning of halt? Stop, help, or increase? Answer A. When you halt someone or something, you stop them from moving forward. Sharks and rays have suffered a devastating collapse in numbers over the past 50 years. We know that shark and fish populations need to recover. So what do you think devastating collapse in numbers means here? Is it A, steady growth, B, harmful fall, or C, surprising strength? Answer B. The numbers of these species have fallen rather quickly. They've collapsed. Collapse means to fall suddenly. This is sad. This is terrible. It's devastating, which means harmful in some way. Many species have lost more than 70% of their populations, mostly due to overfishing to meet a demand for fins, gill plates, meat, and liver oil, but also as a result of bycatch from long-line tuna and swordfish boats. Luke Warwick of the Wildlife Conservation Society calls the new measures a recognition that sharks and rays are wildlife worthy of protection, just like elephants or rhinos. Did you catch why the populations have collapsed in such a devastating way? What's true? A, it's all because people want to eat the meat. B, it's partly because these species were caught by mistake. Answer B. Some vocabulary can be passive, like bycatch. You don't have to learn this word, but you do need to understand it in context. The prefix by means secondary or near. So bycatch refers to the fact that sharks and other threatened species weren't the target, but when fishermen were trying to catch tuna and swordfish, they ended up catching the other species. It's like a secondary catch. Maybe you've heard the word bystander. This is a person who is standing by or near an event. They're observing but not participating. Let me also highlight some common collocations that you heard in that last excerpt. Meet a demand, which is like satisfy a demand. A demand for what? Worthy of, which means good enough to be considered important. People who care about sharks and rays think these creatures are worthy of protection, good enough, valuable enough, important enough to be protected. Another word for you to learn passively right now is in this name, the Wildlife Conservation Society. This organization cares about wildlife, right? They want to protect or conserve wildlife. Conserve is the verb, conservation is the noun. Let's review 10 key words. Match the words to the definitions. There are 2 sets. I'd also like you to match these words to form collocations. How did you do? Listen now as I read the entire article aloud. You won't see the text. Focus on understanding the key ideas. Don't worry about the names of the different species, okay? Saving the sharks. Sharks and rays have just won unprecedented global protection from the world's leading wildlife trade agreement, reports Oceanographic. The Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, or CITES, has placed fishing restrictions on more than 70 threatened species, including a total ban on trade in oceanic white-tip sharks, manta and devil rays, and whale sharks. Trade in deep-sea species, such as gulper, smoothhound, and taupe sharks, will now require strict permits, and wedgefish and giant guitarfish are subject to a zero export quota, effectively halting international trade to allow populations to recover. Sharks and rays have suffered a devastating collapse in numbers over the past 50 years. Many species have lost more than 70% of their populations, mostly due to overfishing to meet a demand for fins, gill plates, meat, and liver oil, but also as a result of bycatch from long-line tuna and swordfish boats. Luke Warwick of the Wildlife Conservation Society calls the new measures a recognition that sharks and rays are wildlife worthy of protection, just like elephants or rhinos. For practice, I'd like to challenge you to use one new vocabulary word in a sentence. Share it in the comments. If you'd like more practice, interaction, and feedback, consider joining the English with Jennifer community on Patreon, where we practice all skills for confident, effective communication. The link is in the video description. Thanks for watching, and happy studies.